this video, a diet hack so easy yet so effective it can make dialysis a thing of the past for 2.6 million CKD patients. Catherine here, I'm a doctor of natural medicine. Fact: if your goal is avoiding the machine, following a renal diet is essential. However, all the info most CKD patients receive are contained in one of those old crusty leaflets listing a bunch of foods with potassium. And that leaflet? It may be the exact reason why your kidney function is getting worse. Yes, it's true. And let me explain. As a healthcare practitioner who works with CKD patients in 2026, we have one rule. And this rule is personalization. Because here's what your doctor never told you about the renal diet. Eating high-calorie foods such as olive oil or processed grains can be very bad for your kidneys if you have diabetes, but it's a lifesaver for underweight patients. Eating potassium-rich foods such as bananas and tomatoes can be dangerous for advanced stages patients, but it saves kidneys if you are in the early stages. And I mean, even your water intake must be personalized when CKD advances. So imagine being told to eat the same foods as everyone else without even asking you what stage you are in. So here's my point. There is no improving if you are not following a personalized renal diet. And now the question is, are you following your own renal diet or are you following a diet made for someone else? I'm asking you this because today I will do something nobody else has ever done for you. I will be sharing with you 3 free personalized renal diets you can actually follow. A diet for people with diabetes, one for people with high blood pressure, and one for those in the advanced stages of CKD. And these diets, they will actually protect your kidneys, unlike that crusty leaflet they gave you at the clinic. Let's see immediately how this works, starting with diabetes. If you look at my infographic on screen right now, you will see exactly what to eat, what to limit, and what to avoid if you have diabetes. Now, the first entry in the green section here is, unsurprisingly, vegetables. Yeah, if you were expecting me to recommend raw milk as a healthy treat for diabetes patients, well, wrong YouTube channel. No, if you have CKD, vegetables should be what you start your meals with. Every single vegetable is healthy for you, with very few exceptions. However, there are a couple of veggies that have medical properties for diabetes patients. One is okra. This is a real superfood, also known as lady's fingers or gumbo. This is a food that directly reduces fasting blood glucose. And trust me, not many foods can boast this property. And another food that's probably just as powerful is bitter gourd. Now, this unsung hero of the produce aisle is a true game changer for diabetes. This food is also known as bitter melon or ampalaya, and it's way more powerful than you think. In this study, diabetes patients eating bitter melon daily not only had significant decreases in body weight and HbA1c levels, as we can see here, they stopped the decline of their kidney function completely. Yes, with just one food. And this is exactly the kind of results we are aiming to get. But you can't just eat these pretty bitter veggies the whole day, alright? If you have CKD, the goal should be building a diet you can follow on the long term. Alright? This is not the crash diet. So once you included all the non-starchy vegetables you like, start considering fruits and starchy vegetables. Of course, don't overdo it with these two, but you don't really need to limit starchy vegetables and fruits as long as you pair them with a significant amount of fiber. Speaking of which, whole grains, they are your best friends. Now guys, before we see what to limit with diabetes, some of you might ask, will this really make a difference? Well guys, here's the thing. Recently, a study on diabetic kidney patients who, by the way, were pretty much on the verge of dialysis, GFR of 11 and heavy proteinuria, aka Dr. Speak for, you really should have called me earlier, proved something unbelievable. Switching diabetic kidney patients to a personalized renal diet slashed proteinuria by 3-fold and slowed their GFR decline down by 5 times. Listen to this guys, 5 times. There are 2.6 million of diabetic CKD patients in the world, and this diet could literally change their lives today. So if you know anyone suffering from diabetes or CKD, share this video with them right now. Because it's a proven fact that if diabetes is what's damaging your kidneys, you can improve by following a personalized renal diet. This is why, over the years, I've developed an innovative approach to the renal diet with one goal in mind: creating a diet that's both easy to follow and personalized. And this diet is the cornerstone of the improvements many of my patients have shared here on Double O Kidney. So, what if you are tired of one-size-fits-all diets that never help? Well, I can design your diet. Because if you want to see real, rapid improvement, you absolutely need a plan built specifically for you. This is exactly what I do in my one-on-one consultations. We look at your blood work, your symptoms, your daily life, and we build a laser-focused protocol so you stop wasting time on what doesn't work and start focusing on what actually will. If you are ready to stop guessing and start healing, send me an email right now at Catherine@newhopeforkidneypatients.com or click the link in the description below. Don't wait, let's get your numbers back where they belong. Now let's take a look at what to limit with diabetes. The yellow section. A lot of people with diabetes will benefit from losing weight. If that's the case, reducing high-calorie foods is the way to go. First of all, added pure fats, your olive and other oils. Olive oil is healthy, but it doesn't go well with weight loss. And I know this sounds like a controversial statement today, but I've explained calorie in, calorie out so many times that I need a full tablespoon of olive oil to get enough energy to explain it again. You get it? Calories, oil, energy. I mean, a liter of olive oil contains basically as much energy as a liter of gasoline. Yeah, the stuff you put in your car. Anyway, don't eat added pure fats if you want to lose weight. Let's talk about the red section, the foods to avoid. Everyone knows that with diabetes, you need to avoid ultra-processed grains, sugary foods, and junk foods in general. But if CKD is present, animal-based foods are to be avoided as well. So here's a simple plan that anyone with diabetes could actually follow. First of all, we have foods in the green, foods you should eat more of. Second, in yellow, foods to limit. And third, in red, the stuff you never want to see on your table. So there you have it, the diet for diabetes and CKD. And let's talk about a diet to control high blood pressure now. Okay, and now some people might ask, but Catherine, you say personalized. Where is the menu and how many milligrams of potassium should I get exactly? Well guys, here's the thing, we don't do that anymore. Today, strict recommendations, especially about potassium, are as outdated as your grandma's phone book. Because here's the thing, the amount of potassium you eat doesn't really translate into serum potassium level, the potassium in your blood, says science. Not to mention that, and here is a fun fact, the average American is eating a lot less potassium than a potassium-restricted diet would even recommend. Yeah, that's how we found out that potassium in the diet doesn't translate to serum potassium. Guys, it's not eating bananas that's spiking your potassium, it's your medications, or the fact that your doctor forgot to prescribe sodium bicarbonate, or sometimes the fact that you didn't have a bowel movement in 5 days. So here's my point, if anyone tells you to eat an exact amount of milligrams of potassium each and every day, you are allowed to laugh in their face. You have my permission. Seriously. But if your potassium is too high, limiting high potassium foods can still help, not on the long term, but while your doctor works on a solution for the root cause of the problem. So yeah, that's what those leaflets are for, to give your doctor time to identify and treat the cause for hyperkalemia. And no, the treatment is not dialysis. Okay, let's talk about the diet for high blood pressure. Let's start with a couple of healing foods, in particular beet and spinach. Now, due to its potassium content, most people in the advanced stages will need to watch the amount of spinach they eat, alright? But if you don't need to limit potassium intake, eat more spinach. This food is incredibly powerful, especially in combination with beet. And the reason is nitric oxide. Many CKD patients have dangerously low nitric oxide levels, and this is very bad. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator. It doesn't just lower blood pressure, it nourishes your kidneys with more blood, oxygen, and vitamins. You absolutely want more of it. And beet and spinach, they are the two best sources you can find for this nutrient. Something else that's absolutely mandatory with high blood pressure is garlic. Actually, garlic has an endless list of benefits. It crushes diabetes, cholesterol, supports heart health, liver health, immune function, heavy metal detoxification, bone health. Studies even suggest it protects from Alzheimer's and extends lifespan. Eat it every day, but don't forget to monitor your blood pressure. Garlic is potent. Now let's talk about regular foods. With high blood pressure, we don't really have to worry about starchy vegetables, corn, squashes, potatoes, as much as with diabetes. Same for fruit and whole grains. These three categories should actually be your #1 calorie source, alright? Let's talk about added fats, your oils. They are not necessarily bad for you, so you don't really need to restrict them, unless you need to lose weight. And those are the foods in the green section for patients with high blood pressure. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, healthy oils. And let's talk about what to limit. Just like for patients with diabetes, nuts, seeds, and legumes are supposed to be limited because they are too rich in protein, alright? Now, in the red section, I've included sugar and refined grains as well. Your bread, pasta, and so on, okay? But why, you ask? Isn't sugar just bad for those with diabetes? Well, not really. You see, even without diabetes, a diet too rich in refined carbs and sugar can cause your kidneys to hold on to more sodium and water than they should, which increases blood volume and raises pressure. Yes, if you want to lower your blood pressure naturally, always avoid sugar-rich foods, sweets, sugary beverages, desserts, and so on, and limit refined carbs intake. Now, something nobody will be surprised to see here is sodium. Sodium is always going to be in the red for everyone. It doesn't just raise blood pressure, it's a direct kidney toxin. Okay guys, let's move on. The next diet is for people in the advanced stages of CKD, pre-dialysis. Now, most people in stage 4 or 5 pre-dialysis will still have to deal with high blood pressure and/or diabetes, so the previous recommendations still apply. However, patients in stage 4 and 5 usually also have complications. Especially common is metabolic acidosis, or having too much acid in blood. And here is the thing. Controlling metabolic acidosis can make a huge difference between ending up in dialysis in 1 month or in years. To do that, you want to include foods that are alkaline but also low in potassium. Arugula is one perfect example. Arugula is a cousin of broccoli, kale, and cabbage and shares many of their health benefits, but it's lower in potassium than these other options. Ideal for every single CKD patient, but especially for those in the advanced stages. Something else you want on your table daily is the bell pepper. Bell peppers are phenomenal. A cup of red bell pepper contains nearly 3 times the vitamin C found in a medium orange. Plus, it removes acid from your body. Very useful. Another antioxidant powerhouse that crushes acid load is the eggplant. A real powerhouse. Alkalizing, vitamin-rich, antioxidant-packed, and low in both potassium and calories. Now, if you look at my infographic, you will see that you still want to include vegetables, fruits in general, and whole grains in your diet. And you still want to limit nuts, seeds, legumes, refined grains. What's changed now is that you also want to include upper deck food staples like upper deck pasta and bread, and to avoid low-quality protein. What do I mean for low-quality protein? I'm talking about the protein you get from grains, legumes, and seeds, alright? So here's the thing. The more CKD progresses, the more limiting protein intake matters. You can eat a couple of portions of legumes per week in stage 3, no problem. But in stage 4, those legumes, that bread, that pasta dish contain enough protein to severely impact your kidney function. That protein can make the machine a lot closer. So here's the bottom line. In the initial stages of CKD, the focus should be on stopping whatever is causing the damage to the kidneys. But when CKD progresses, dealing with complications and cutting low-quality protein from the diet becomes incredibly important. Now, if you want to know more about what protein is low quality and what is high quality, my video up here is for you, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye!